Which one will you want to work on? It doesn't matter. Please choose. Number one. So here we have 40.345. We're dividing by something, and we get 4,034,500. Okay. So notice what happens here. This decimal point goes to the right. How many spots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the decimal point went this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You can also double check by multiplying that by
Exactly. You can double check dividing this by this to get that. Or, as you said, this times this has to give us that. Cross multiplication rule in a proportion. Very good. Awesome. Good. Write in fractional notation. Write the fraction as a decimal. So, let's do this. So we have 0.0111. They want us to write this as a fraction. Piece of cake. 111. 1 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Good. Now here we have two integers and 37 over 1,000. Remember, two integers, not multiplication. This is a mixed number. 2 and 37 over 1,000. This is basically 2 plus 37 over 1,000. So the answer has to have two integers and a period. And there are 3 zeros. The decimal point is here. 1, 2, 3. 37 over 1,000 is 0.037. Is that okay? Good. Write the fraction as a decimal. Well, in this case, we have to divide. So we have 7 divided by 8. And that's your decimal number. So it's 0.875. Drag the appropriate form of 1 from the above list into the appropriate area below to complete each multiplication. So, which number multiplied by 2/5 equals 4 over 10? What do you think? 2 over 2 over
2.
2 over 2. 2 over 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Good. What about 23 over 40? I have no idea. I just have to divide 100 by 4, so it's 25. So 23 times 25 should be 575, and 40 times 25 is definitely 1,000. So we check 23 times 25. 575. 575, which is indeed the same thing with this. Okay? Yes, yes. Select the correct choice to complete. Okay. So 2 divided by 5, it's incorrect because 2 should be where 5 is. Explain how Keith made an error just by looking at his final answer. Here's his work. Because they reverse them again, the quotient and the dividend. Okay. Okay, let me know if we need to simplify this algebraic expression. This is 24, 25, the area of the rectangle, okay, 26, 27, the perimeter, and 28. Okay, so again, these are the last few questions, and we can move on to the last section. Simplify the algebraic expression. 24, 25, 26. No, 24 and 25. Are we interested in 24 or 25? Or none? Okay, very good. So let's look at 25. In 25, we have -7 quantity, x minus 4.1 minus quantity 5.6x minus 3. Perfect. And then we'll move on to the last three. Good. So you have examples of everything.
Yeah.
So
And so Valentine's Day candy, if you guys are interested in.
Fave,
Do
Course.
Fave,
And then I'll pass the basket around for.
never mind. Okay, so first of all, we have to distribute. Remember, we are distributing a negative number to two terms. Here, we're distributing -1 to two terms. We cannot pick and choose. We must distribute to both. -7 times x is -7x. Sorry, for some reason, my marker did what it wanted to do. Now, -7 times -44.1 is a positive number. Careful how we do this. So 4.1 times 7, 7 and 28. We see only one decimal digit. So from the end, we move it one spot. So this is positive 28.7. Now this part is easy because -1 times 5.6 is -5.6x, and -1 times -3 is positive 3. As you know, at this point, we have to combine like terms. In order to combine like terms, we look and see where the terms are, and obviously both are negative. These are the terms that I have to combine, but that's easy because the sign will be negative, and I'm only adding 7 to 5.6, and I get 12.6x. Here is also easy. I have 28.7 plus 3, and I get 31.7. And this is the simplified form. Can anyone identify the degree, the leading term, and the leading coefficient?
degree of one leading term is 31.
Leading term is
Oh, sorry.
negative 12.6x.
Sorry.
It's where the degree is coming from.
Mhm.
Good. And the leading coefficient is?
Negative 12.6.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Good. So let's look at, do we want to work on the area? 2.9 meters by 0.4 meters. Do we want to determine the perimeter of a rectangle? Or we want to determine the perimeter and area of this square?
28.
Which one?
28. 's the
28. Perfect, because it has both. I agree. Good. So we have the square, which is 2.9 kilometers. So they want us to find the perimeter and the area, and then we can close that one. Okay, so so this is the side of the square. The perimeter is 4 times the side. In this case, it will be 4 multiplied by 2.9. So 36, 6 and I carry a 3, 11.6. And this is in kilometers. Because this is kilometers plus kilometers plus kilometers plus kilometers. However, the area is the side squared, which means 2.9 squared. And the measurement unit cannot be the same. It will be in kilometers squared. That's the area. So we want 2.9 times 2.9. So when I multiply 2.9 times 2.9, I have 1 and I carry 8. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 8 is 26. 2 times 9 is 18, 8 and I carry 1. 2 times 2 is 4 and I have 5. So I have 1, I have 4, and I have 8. Now I count the number of decimal digits and I go from right to left. So the answer is 8.41 squared kilometers for the area. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, good. This completes 2.7. Let's see 2.8, and let's start reviewing. 2.9 is putting all together, so we're going to look at that as well. Good. So more algebra with decimals. It's all this in the same token. Good. Evaluate the expression. We've done this already, but you tell me. Evaluate this expression. So that's it's order of operations. You tell me when to stop. I can go back. I think that 3 is a good one. Use the equation to find the Fahrenheit temperature, F, that corresponds to 6 degrees Celsius.
We do 3.
Yep, let's go back to 3 and then we'll...
Can you do 4?
I'm sorry, 3 and 5?
4.
And 4. Yes, of course, 3 and 4.
Yes.
Sure. Sure. So in 3, we have 13.4 minus the absolute value of 1.7 minus 4.9 plus 0.9 plus 0.2, everything squared. Good. Can anyone tell us where is the starting point?
Value.
At the absolute value, at the same time with what we have in parentheses. Excellent. So 13.4 minus. Now, I know that the sign in the absolute value will be negative. Why? Because 4.9 is bigger and stronger than 1.7. Because it has a negative sign, the outcome will be negative. So basically in my head, I say I do 4.9 minus 1.7, which is 3.2. Then I continue with 0.9 plus 0.2, which is 1.1 squared. I don't need parentheses on it anymore because it's a positive number. At this point, do not try to multiply. This is not allowed because this is the absolute value. So 13.4. The absolute value of negative 3.2 is positive 3.2. With minus in front, it makes it negative 3.2 plus. So when I square 11, I get 121. But when I square 1.1, I have 2 decimal digits. So it's just 1.21. At this point, I dictate the order. I can do whatever I want. What does that mean? Well, 13.4 plus 1.2, I'll say is 14.61. 13.4 plus 1.2, 14.61. But I have to subtract 3.2. Remember when we subtract and add, the decimal point has to line up. So I subtract this. So this is 11.41. And this is the final answer. Is this okay? Good. Good. You said, somebody said to work on 4 or 5, I forgot. 4, I think.
Yeah, it was 4. Wait. Yeah, 4. Yep.
Okay. So in 4 we have 3/5 in front multiplied by 12.8 minus 9.3. Obviously, we have to perform the operations in parentheses first. So we have 3.5 and multiplied by 12 minus 9 is 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. Here's what I will do next. 3/5 times 35 over 10. I changed 3.5 into its equivalent form, which is the fraction form 35 over 10. Why? Because I want to simplify. 5 by 5, 35 by 5. So the final answer is 21 over 10, or the easiest thing is to divide by 10, or 2.1. I move the decimal point from the right to the left 1 spot. Why 1 spot? Because there is only 1 0. Okay? These are the last problems that we need to look at before we review. The taxi charges $13.75 plus 75 cents per mile. Use this formula where X is the number of miles traveled and C is the cab fare to find the fare for traveling 20 miles from the airport to a hotel. Let me know. Evaluate the expression for negative 0.46. We've done this. Let me know if you want me to work on it, if you want us to work on it. Evaluate 4.1. Let me know. Evaluate for something else. Evaluate. It looks more involving. Number 10. Solve the equation. Okay, so do we want to look at any evaluation before we move on to equations? Yes, no, please.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Okay, very good. You want to do this one?
Mhm.
Very good. So that's page 7. Okay. We're asking to evaluate this expression, 5.4 plus x minus y, for x being negative 1.4 and y being 5.8. Perfect. Good. First of all, I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. (3.2) times 5.4. Okay. 3.2, 5.4, 8 and 12, 16. So 1728, two decimal digits, 17.28 plus 3.2 times x and minus y. Another option would have been to just substitute and then deal with it. That's fine too. Okay, so now I have 17.28 plus 3.2 multiplied by negative 1.4. 3.2, don't forget parentheses, this is very important, and then minus 5.8. Let's stop for a second and see if this is clear. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So then 17.28, this is a negative number. So I multiply 3.2 by 1.4. 2 and 3, and I have 4, 4, 8. Two decimal digits, so 4.48 minus 5.8. So I have 17.28 minus. I prefer adding this debt if you want. So to 4.48, I'm adding 5.8. Remember the decimal digit has to line up when we add. 10. 28 and 28, and 17 minus 10 is just 7. Yes, maybe it would have been easier by simply replace 5.4 minus 1.4, so we get 4, so it would have been easier to multiply. So you can do that too because you have the values. We would have had less multiplication to perform. Okay, so let's solve equations now. Let's see. Solve the equation. Simplify. From 1, this is very important. From 1a, we subtract 0.29a. From an integer, from 1, we subtract 0.29, and we get 0.71a. We've done this before. Let me know if you need us to write it. Please.
I finally figured those out, but I'm not gonna lie, they threw me for a loop.
Yes, because it's a little bit, it looks like a little bit, confusing. So 1 minus 0.29. From one integer, I subtract 0.29, and I get 0.71. Good? Solve the equation. Solve the equation. These are all equations with decimal numbers. Simplify and solve the equation. We have to solve at least one, maybe two. Simplify the expression. We just did one. Solve the equation and simplify and solve the equation. Yes. We have to simplify and solve an equation. Please. You want me to choose? I will choose. The price of a jacket including sales tax. We have to look at problem 21 for sure. Okay, so let's solve an equation before we do the word problems from 21 on. Okay, I'm going to select an equation. Okay, here it is. So let's look at the equation. These are the last problems before we review. So 3 minus 0.5 quantity x plus 1 equals 5.3 minus 2.1, 1.2. All of a sudden, I became dyslexic. Okay. Yeah, just all of a sudden.